Welcome back to Technique Tuesday. Today we're going to talk about the differences between salsa and mambo. So we're going to get right into this. So the first most obvious thing if you've danced these dances before is the timing is different. When I dance salsa, let's say salsa on the one, we break on the one itself in each direction, where if I dance mambo, we break on the two count in each direction. And when I say break, I mean like a rock step, like I go forward on the one in salsa and back on the one or five, and then mambo it's the two count that I go forward on or backwards on the two or the six count in mambo, right? So that's the first most obvious thing, is the timing is different. If I were to do a salsa basic, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Mambo would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So my break is different, right? So one last thing to note here is there is salsa on two. Right, salsa on two, which is again still different from mambo. I said a mambo we break on two. Technically in salsa we break on two as well. But in mambo we hold the one count, where salsa on two we dance the one count. So if I do salsa on two, what that looks like is I move on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I go on salsa on two, I go 1, 2, 3, hold the 4, 5, 6, 7, hold the 8. Or if I just do it in 4, so it's a little less confusing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Mambo, I'm holding the one count, so I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm using and stepping on different numbers in all three of these variations now. Salsa on the 1, salsa on the 2, mambo itself, all three different variations, not only technically in how I dance in the feet and in the knees, and maybe even the structure of the patterns itself, but quite literally dancing on a different beat in the music for all three variations of these dances. That's the most obvious thing. But let's get more technique-wise in how I style and or dance these differently. So with my knees actually first is probably the most obvious thing. In salsa, I just have softer knees in general, and they both remain pretty soft throughout the basic and the dance itself, which makes me a little bit more agile. Because the next most obvious thing that's different is salsa is slightly faster than mambo. So I'm in a more agile, ready place to be able to break and move quicker each time, where mambo is actually slightly slower. In mambo, we actually have way more opposition in my legs and my knees every time I take a step. So when I go to break, we're looking for a lot of change between a straight and a bent knee, so that we get more hip action. So technically there's more hip action in mambo than there is salsa because of the opposition in the knees and how these pictures I'm trying to make all the time every time I go to break each step. Where in salsa, again, they just generally stay softer. There is a slight change in fluctuation in the knees, but I'm not going for crazy pictures because the dance is so fast it would look and feel kind of hectic, right? So timing's different. The knees are different. Technically, the basic in salsa, I close my feet or I pass my feet in the middle here, where technically the basic in mambo is a side step in the middle. So the dance isn't a slot dance like salsa is, where salsa, we kind of dance on this one line the entire time, where mambo has the side step in the middle, and the patterns are much more rounded and they travel a little bit more. We do things like crossovers and different horizontal patterns, which aren't very common in salsa at all. I have one more thing for you here too. Salsa, I dance on flat feet. So I quite literally use my whole foot, my heel and my ball of the foot at the same time. And I might even pick up my feet a little bit as I go to take each one of these steps, if you were to really zoom in and be really specific. Where in mambo, I have more of an articulation through my foot of a ball flat feeling, because of the contrast in how I use my legs and my knees. Where in salsa, my knees are just softer, so I use the whole foot, and we kind of just, for lack of better words, stomping around in each of these steps, instead of mambo trying to articulate through the foot much more, where because of the speed of salsa and the way the patterns are developed, it really doesn't give you enough time to go and work through those actions as much as they allow you to do in mambo. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. The differences between salsa and mambo, so many different characteristics and ways we can dance these dances differently. Never mind the music and the patterns are different as well. We'll see you next week on Technique Tuesday.